There are moments when everything seems calm on the outside, but inside, a restlessness whispers, as if something is about to happen, but never does. As if life had pressed the pause button just when you felt you were finally ready. It's a silent pain, almost invisible. It doesn't scream, it doesn't explode. It simply presses on the chest in silence, as if to say, why hasn't it happened yet? Maybe you're in that exact place. The desire is alive, pulsing inside you. But the reality around you feels stagnant. You wake up every day with the same hope, and go to sleep with the same question. What's still missing? You look at yourself and see how far you've come, how much you've learned, how much you've overcome. But something inside still doesn't move. It's as if life is waiting for something from you, and you don't know what it is. There is a common illusion along this path, believing that being ready simply means wanting something deeply. But the universe, in its silent wisdom, doesn't respond to wanting. It responds to frequency. And frequency is not just positive thinking. Frequency is the alignment between what you feel, what you believe, and what you vibrate when no one is watching. Sometimes we believe we are ready, but it's our own emotional field that still needs restructuring. Because to desire is easy, but to sustain what we desire, that is true readiness. Napoleon Hill called this intelligent waiting. He said that a burning desire without emotional preparation and spiritual discipline leads only to frustration. And he was right. The universe is not a wish-granting machine. It is a vibrational mirror. It does not deliver what you want. It delivers what you are. And becoming it is a slow process, sometimes painful, always deep. Destiny is not a place you go to. It is a state you must learn to hold. Joe Dispenza teaches that the mind must live in the desired future before the body and reality can follow. If inside you there is still doubt, scarcity, fear of not succeeding, then there's no way your field can respond with abundance. The neurochemistry of not yet ready is real. It blocks, it delays. It builds invisible barriers that keep reality in the same place, even when everything on the outside seems to be in motion. It's like a garden. You can water it, prune it, clean the soil. But flowers only bloom when their internal time says now. It's not about your rush, it's about the seed's vibration. Anxiety does not make things grow. Urgency doesn't harvest. There is only harvest where there has been silence, ripening, and true surrender. In this video, we will walk together through this invisible terrain where destiny is shaped before it appears. We will uncover why the universe only delivers when you have become the version of yourself who can hold what you ask for. And perhaps, just perhaps, you will realize that what looks like a delay is in truth life's deepest care for you, because what is yours cannot be delivered to the version of you who is not yet ready to keep it. Sometimes the heart screams, "I'm ready," but the body trembles within. There is a kind of desire that does not free, it imprisons. It comes from urgency, from lack, from the fear that nothing will ever change. And the more you desire, the further away everything seems to be. As if there's an invisible distance between wanting and being. As if what you long for still doesn't recognize your vibration as home. This is the subtle trap of illusory readiness. You can read all the books, listen to every message, repeat all the affirmations. You can even convince your mind that you're ready. But the universe doesn't hear words, it reads vibration. And when your field still vibrates in despair, fear, or urgency, there is no manifestation that can come through. Because desire without aligned vibration becomes noise, and noise does not create, it only confuses. Napoleon Hill said, "Desire without discipline is just accumulated frustration." And discipline here is not about rigidity, it's about vibrational consistency. It's when you learn to sustain with serenity the vibration of what hasn't arrived yet. When your mind and your body already inhabit the state of what you desire, even before you can touch it. It's the kind of faith that doesn't shake, the kind of trust that doesn't need proof, the kind of presence that doesn't beg. How many times have you felt you were ready, but deep down, there was still fear of failure, fear of disappointment, fear of losing again? That's not failure. That's the natural reflection of an emotional structure still under construction. Your willingness is not wrong, your foundation is just not yet firm, and the universe, in its wisdom, waits for that strengthening, not as punishment, but as protection. The wait, as painful as it may feel, is never punishment. It's vibrational care, it's silent alignment. It's the necessary time for your field to be able to hold what you desire, because the universe doesn't deliver dreams to hearts that still doubt. It delivers them to those who have become the truth of what they ask for, and becoming begins exactly where you are now. There is a kind of urgency that doesn't come from the soul. It comes from fear. Fear that time is running out too fast. Fear that dreams will be left behind. Fear that the universe has forgotten. And in that fear, the ego steps in as an impatient commander, trying to force the flow, control the unseen, rush what can only emerge in the time of ripening. The ego wants things now. It wants results, answers, tangible proof. But the quantum field, that subtle intelligence organizing reality, doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to frequency, and frequency can't be forced. It is cultivated through presence. The more you try to rush the invisible, the more you activate your survival system. And when the body is in alert mode, it doesn't create. It repeats, it protects. The anxiety for results creates the opposite of manifestation. It says, without words, that you don't really trust, that you don't believe what's yours will come. And the universe listens, not to your declarations, but to your vibration. Often this urgency is triggered by unconscious patterns, comparing yourself to others, spiritual guilt for not evolving, fear of wasting your life. And the more these patterns dominate, the more the field closes, not as punishment, but out of vibrational coherence. Trying to force the timing of manifestation is like trying to open a flower by force. You only end up damaging what was still blooming. Life doesn't respond to shouting. It responds to inner silence, the kind of silence that comes from trust, not resignation. The kind of silence that knows how to wait, not because it gave up, but because it understood. Understood that destiny isn't a point in the future, but a vibrational reflection sustained now. And what if what you call delay is actually the intelligence of the field keeping you from arriving too soon? What if the waiting time is the exact time of inner construction? In that space between wanting and happening, there is an invisible portal, and those who try to cross it in a hurry always return to the same place. Because it's not about rushing to your destiny, it's about becoming its frequency. And that takes the exact time of your truth. No more, no less, just the right time. There is a kind of movement that leads nowhere. It's the movement of escape, the desperate attempt to prove to the universe and to yourself that you're doing everything right. Courses, books, practices, affirmations, a spiritually exhausting routine that doesn't touch what matters most, presence. Because presence isn't about quantity, it's about vibrational quality. It's the silence that anchors, the calm that guides, the space where creation truly happens. Many people confuse movement with direction. They do too much but feel too little. They execute with precision but don't listen to what the body is whispering. And the body speaks. It speaks through fatigue, through mental fog, through constant restlessness. It's like driving a car with the engine roaring in neutral, noise, effort, but no real movement. And the subtlest part of this sabotage is that it disguises itself as discipline, commitment, faith, but it's not. It's fear. Fear of stopping and facing the void. Fear of silence revealing the truth that trust hasn't taken root yet. Napoleon Hill called this efficient action, action that comes from inner alignment. Efficient action isn't intense. It's intentional, it's not urgent, it's clear. It arises after listening, not from rushing. Because every time you act without presence, you act from misalignment. And to act from misalignment is like pushing a door that only opens when you stop pushing. It doesn't respond to force. It responds to vibration. The universe isn't asking you to do more, it's waiting for you to feel more, to integrate what you already know, to embody what you've already learned. Because when action comes from connection, a small gesture becomes a magnetic field for manifestation. But when it comes from fear, 1,000 actions become nothing but spiritual noise. Energy without focus is like a light that blinds. Instead of illuminating, it disorients. And spiritual confusion is often the result of excessive doing without the foundation of being. You didn't come here to chase after something. You came to align with what is already yours. And that alignment isn't conquered through effort, but through awareness, through the clarity that acting while disconnected is just another way of delaying what could already be real. Not every silence means absence. Not every delay means denial. Sometimes, the universe simply goes quiet, to better listen to what your vibration is saying, because before delivering what you desire, it must know whether you've become someone who can hold that reality. And that recognition doesn't happen through the words you speak, but through the choices you make when no one is watching. Small delays, closing paths, recurring patterns, all of these, as uncomfortable as they are, may be nothing more than silent vibrational tests. Not a test in the moral sense, not a judgment, but a filter. An invitation to coherence, a mirror reflecting with precision the misalignment between what you ask for and what you truly vibrate. Because it's not enough to say, "I trust." You must act like someone who trusts. You must breathe like someone who knows what's theirs is on the way. But if your actions still reveal fear, impatience, anxiety, then the universe doesn't block. It simply responds. Some beliefs vibrate louder than any affirmation. Beliefs passed down, deeply rooted, silently present. I don't deserve this. It's going to go wrong again. I can't relax. These statements are rarely spoken out loud, but they are felt. And the quantum field feels them too, because manifestation isn't built by conscious thoughts alone. It's shaped by everything you feel, even what you hide from yourself. The waiting time, as frustrating as it feels, is also a time of revelation. It shows you, with precision, where doubt still lives, where you're still afraid to receive, where trust hasn't yet fully settled into your bones. And in that space of revelation, you can truly see yourself. Not just the part of you that dreams, but the part that still needs healing before arrival. Greg Braden teaches that the reality we experience is created by coherence between the brain and the heart. If the mind says yes, but the heart still whispers no, the quantum field stays suspended. It doesn't deny. It waits. It waits for the moment when everything inside you aligns into one sound, one vibration, one field of permission. Because only then, and only then, does the invisible become tangible life. There's a kind of waiting that traps you. It's the waiting for the life that hasn't yet arrived, for the answer that hasn't come, for the change that drags on in time. And in that anxious waiting, we almost always forget the now. The present becomes nothing more than a narrow corridor between what was and what isn't yet. It's not lived, it's simply endured. And this constant enduring exhausts the soul, drains the body, weakens your frequency. Neuroscience has shown the brain feeds on dopamine when we anticipate something good, but when that anticipation becomes an addiction, we lose the ability to feel joy in what is. Everything becomes a means to an end, never a destination, never enough, never whole. We live like someone chasing a moving line, never quite catching up. Practical spirituality teaches manifestation doesn't happen in the future. It only happens in the now. It only manifests where there is presence. And presence is not passivity. It is rooted vibration. It's when you are whole in the moment, without being distracted by what could be. It's when your body, mind, and heart all live in the same time, the only real time. When expectation becomes the center of your experience, your vibrational field weakens. Desire turns into anxiety. Anxiety turns into resistance. And without realizing it, you begin to push away creation, because your mind is always in the after, and after, by definition, never arrives. It exists only as projection, and projection without presence is a dream that slips through your fingers. That's why co-creation demands more than wanting. It demands grounding. It demands that you be where you are, fully, even if the place isn't perfect yet, even if life doesn't look like what you imagined. Because what transforms the now isn't what's missing from it, it's what you vibrate inside it. Readiness, more often than not, isn't about motion. It's about truth. It's knowing that destiny doesn't need to be rushed. It needs to be revealed. And when you stop living as if your life will begin tomorrow, something changes. Energy realigns. The field opens. And what seemed far away finally finds space to become real. Because there's no time more powerful than the moment you finally choose to be present. There is a delicate stage in every manifestation journey. It's when everything seems aligned. The signs appear, doors begin to open, coincidences intensify. You feel close, very close. And yet something slips away. The project doesn't come through. The connection fades. The opportunity dissolves into thin air. And what remains is the bitter taste of almost, of having come so close and but not quite. This almost cycle isn't random. It's a deep, vibrational reflection. When you're just about to touch what you desire, that's exactly when your subtlest frequency is tested. That's the moment the field reveals whether you're truly ready, not just to receive, but to sustain. And sustaining takes more than wanting. It takes emotional maturity, energetic clarity, and an absence of fear. Often, what blocks fulfillment isn't a lack of worthiness. It's the unconscious fear of what comes with the dream, fear of your own light, fear of not being enough, fear of responsibility, or even the fear of losing it after you've finally received it. And the body knows, the field registers, the universe notices, and the once strong flow recedes, not as punishment, but as protection. Napoleon Hill said, "Most people give up just steps away from success." But what few realize is that this retreat isn't always conscious. Sometimes it shows up in subtle self-sabotage, unexplained delays, emotional distractions, impulsive decisions that derail what was taking shape. All of it happens when the frequency that attracted the dream isn't the same one needed to hold it. There's a subtle disconnect between what you asked for and what you're truly ready to live. Manifestation isn't just about attracting, it's about maintaining. It's about being energetically available for what becomes real, and that requires a vibration of responsibility. Not the heavy kind, the grounded kind, the one that understands that every realized dream carries a new level of awareness, a new space for surrender, a new way to show up in the world. When life senses that you are ready, not just to receive, but to live the truth of what you asked for, without fear, without retreat, without hesitation, then the almost disappears. And what once slipped through your fingers stays. Because now your field no longer fears, it finally begins to allow. There are times when what's missing isn't desire, it's grounding. It's the absence of honest answers about who you've become while waiting. Because true manifestation isn't just a result of intention, it's a direct consequence of structured vibration, of how well you can hold what you've asked for. And that holding begins with a deep inner inquiry, a gaze that moves past the desire and into its roots. The first level of this self-analysis is desire awareness, but not just any desire, your essential desire, the one that comes from your soul, not from comparison. What do you truly want? Not what you were taught to want, not what sounds impressive to others, but the thing that, when you imagine it, brings peace instead of anxiety. Real desire doesn't tighten the chest, it expands, it quiets, it fits. The second level is internal coherence. Do your emotions support or contradict this desire? Do you vibrate in trust or in doubt? Do you live as someone who has already received or as someone still begging? You can't lie to the field. It feels every hesitation, every buried fear, every silent resistance. When there's contradiction between what you want and what you feel, reality goes on pause, and it stays there until you become whole, integrated, coherent. The third level is your capacity to sustain. Do you have the emotional structure to receive and keep what you desire? A great love, for instance, requires more than longing. It demands true availability for intimacy. Financial abundance requires more than wanting. It demands a mind that can manage, a heart that can share. Receiving is easy. Sustaining takes maturity, and vibrational maturity is born from self-knowledge. There is a symbolic technique that can help with this, the vibrational mirror. Look at what's delayed in your life, not with judgment, but with deep listening. Each delay, each repetition, each silence might be revealing a point of misalignment, a buried fear, a forgotten belief, an emotion not yet healed. When you look with courage, the mirror stops reflecting lack. It starts showing the path. Because in truth, destiny isn't something that comes. It's something that emerges when you become the space it can inhabit. When there is coherence between wanting, feeling, and sustaining, time bends. The universe responds, and what once seemed distant begins to unfold as part of who you already are. In that moment, manifestation no longer needs to be waited for. It just happens, because you have, at last, become the very thing you once asked for. There comes a moment when everything makes sense, even if nothing is resolved yet. It's when you realize that the waiting time wasn't about absence, it was about refinement. Destiny wasn't on pause, It was being molded inside you. In every silence, in every repetition, in every sense of delay, something greater was being woven. Your ability to become who you needed to be in order to receive what you asked for. Napoleon Hill taught that faith must be applied with disciplined action. But that action isn't about frenzied doing. It's about consistent being. It's when your energy aligns with certainty, not with demand. It's when you wait, not with hidden despair, but with a creative posture. Because you've already understood that the universe doesn't work with haste. It works with precision. It doesn't respond to the cry of fear. It responds to the stillness of knowing. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "The good that belongs to you cannot be lost." And she was right. What's truly yours cannot be lost, but it also won't arrive while there's still doubt. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because it respects the rhythm of your frequency. It knows that delivering too early would be like giving wings to someone who hasn't yet learned how to fly. It's not protection from desire. It's protection for desire. So that when it comes, you are whole enough to live it. The fruit ripens on the inside before it appears on the outside. You can't see it, but it's already transforming. And so it is with destiny. It needs your vibrational maturity to be revealed. There is no harvesting what hasn't yet rooted. No living what hasn't yet become part of you. The time of harvest is always silent, but it is precise. And when you understand that, something softens inside your chest. So now, maybe only one question remains. What if you were already ready? Not because you've done more, but because you finally stopped waiting as someone who suffers and started living as someone who trusts. What would you do today if you knew, really knew, that your destiny is already on its way? Because it is. And it always has been. The time of the universe is, and always will be, the time of your frequency. When you stop waiting and start being, the universe doesn't delay. It simply delivers. In the exact moment when everything inside you finally says, "Now, yes, I am ready."